What is up, y'all? It's Brandon from the 138 Automotive Alliance. Got on YouTube, haven't been posting much stuff, but saw that I had a comment that I hadn't responded to from 8 months ago. So it was in response to the video I did on this Mercedes Benz E320 CDI. Been driving this car kind of for the most part for about a year now. Got it on the road. I think last time I made content on it, it was just after my initial purchase, but here to kind of share the woes and enjoyment, frustration, mostly frustration with this car. I do like it, I am keeping it, but I paid $2,000 for it, and I have about $3,000 in parts in it, and hours of my own labor, scrape knuckles, frustrations, all that shit. But been driving it for a while and putting some miles on it. So I think when I originally discussed, this little brake control unit was an issue and causing codes. Mercedes does replace those. I know some people say that they don't, but it's 25 years, unlimited miles. This car is a 2005, and Mercedes replaced it for me. Unfortunately, that didn't resolve all my codes. I had an issue, actually it was on the passenger side, but on the rear here, there is a speed sensor on each side, and they get their signal from what they call a tone ring, which goes around the axle. So that's a pretty involved process to get that off and replaced, and it was rusted on there. So lots of penetrating oil and banging and heat and all that good stuff, but it came off, and then that finally got rid of all of my codes that I had related to the braking system and the ABS, because it needs that signal. So that was good. Began driving the car some, then I took the intake off and did the little swirl flap thing that you guys can read about in other areas on the intranet, and the EGR thing. That definitely lots of buildup in that intake, so got that cleaned out really good, so it should be flowing a little bit better. And I don't know if it's just me, but I think I can hear the turbo spooling better now. But you know, to get that apart, you got to do the whole fuel rail, you got to take this off, I mean all this stuff up here, so it's a lot of stuff off the engine. So that was good, got that done. No codes resulting from that, because I did all the associated things to not have those show up on the car. Got it inspected, licensed, all that good stuff, started driving it, and this front suspension was so squeaky. I mean, you push down on it like this and it'd just be like it was probably all good, but it just felt like such a piece of shit. And I'm driving this Mercedes around, and yes, I'm not rich, and I'm not trying to be rich by buying a Mercedes. I just like the German cars and the diesel sedans. Those are all interesting and cool to me. So I had to change it, had to get the front suspension fixed. Dampers were good, so I left those. They weren't leaking, but I did upper, lower control arms, ball joints, ends, like all that stuff. Probably, I don't know, a good $8,000 to $1,000 worth of parts up front. Also did the pads, rotors, and brake lines at the same time. Bled the brake system too. That's a process you need a scan tool with if you want to bleed the ABS, but pretty straightforward if you have the proper electronic interface, computer interface with your car. Makes it kind of easy. What else have I done to this car? Those are the bigger things for sure. And no, that's not the biggest thing. I take that back. I'm totally lying there. The transmission was not shifting how I felt that it should, and it was definitely flaring in certain gears, so the shift would be kind of delayed. You'd get that brief moment where the RPMs would rev up, and then it would finally slide into gear and do its thing. So I decided to drop the pan, remove the valve body to one, replaced the conductor plate on top, and of course new fluid. I don't think the fluid had ever been changed. This car was at around 220,000 miles at that time, and I'm sure the fluid has never been changed. So drained the fluid, removed the pan, removed the valve body, cleaned all that up, did a little Transgo kit that is transmission, kind of refresh kits, got different overlap sleeves and springs and little valves and different things. Did that and some other parts like the torque converter lockup valve. Can't remember all the parts, but did several parts inside the valve body. Pretty involved process taking that thing apart and doing all those things, but there's stuff out there on YouTube, internet, and all that. And then also the Transgo kit had a very good diagram for the valve body. So put all that back together, new conductor plate, new filter, and it did okay for a couple weeks, and then it started giving me issues again and going into limp mode, which it didn't do before I serviced the transmission. So that was very frustrating. So I decided that I would take it apart again and check everything out. Oh, there's all this stuff getting on my car at. But anyway, squirrel. So did that, took it apart again, checked everything over, cleaned out the valve body again, replaced the filter again. Of course, you don't get all the fluid out by just draining the pan, so it was probably important that I needed to get more fluid. There was more dirtiness in the bottom of the pan. And I did something else, can't remember exactly what else I checked, but I was definitely leading toward a path in troubleshooting during that time. Put it back together. Same issue, going into limp mode, usually after the transmission was fully warmed up. So then started researching some more, using my scan tool, looking at some live data. I noticed that this speed sensor was giving me a funky value when the car was not moving, and looked it up, and that speed sensor was associated with the one that is on the conductor plate. So turns out the brand new conductor plate, not FCP Euro's fault, but I do appreciate their lifetime warranty, because I sent it back and, well, had to buy a new one and then get credit for sending the one back. But I replaced the conductor plate, and so far, I mean, we're looking all right. I know after I make this video, the thing is gonna start slipping and going into limp mode, but I'm gonna risk it anyway and jinx myself. But about 1,700 miles, and it's shifting okay, not like a new transmission would, but it doesn't seem to be slipping or flaring or going into limp mode. So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I just like driving it. And what I'm doing on it today, give you guys some other visuals here. What I'm doing on it today is just spraying down all the glow plugs with penetrating oil, because I'm going to take those out this week when I get my new glow plugs in. They're on those little spots there. So pretty easy to get to, but I sprayed some penetrating oil on them, and I'm going to let that soak in and heat up when I drive it a little bit. And that will hopefully make those very easy to remove. And I'm also not certain my glow plug control module, which I have the old one tied up here because the new one's underneath there, and I had it plugged up and the glow plug light was staying on all the time. So I don't know if it's the right one. In different markets there was different voltages for the glow plugs, and from what I read, people say that there are some parts out there listed on sites that say they are for this car, but they are not. They're for the different voltage glow plugs. So I'm thinking that's what I got, and maybe mine's not bad. I know you can test the resistance on these glow plugs, but they're cheap enough, and it's winter, and I just want whole new fresh glow plugs, because I can't really determine when these were actually changed. So that's what I'm doing, new glow plugs. Test the modules out, make sure the glow plug system is up to par for the winter coming up. So that's a lot. This car's been a lot. Got $5,000 into it so far. I probably couldn't get that, or might be able to get close to that if I decided to sell it, but you know, I'm kind of stuck with the thing and have a love-hate relationship with it, so I'm going to keep it going. And dream would be to purchase some awesome things from Black Smoke Diesel. I think they're in the Czech Republic or Poland. No, Poland. They do a lot with these OM648s for performance, but I got to make sure my transmission's good soon, and I got to make sure my transmission's solid before I go throwing any power at it. But these can build some power, and I'd like to eventually do that. So that's where I'm at. They're cool cars. 0506 E320 CDI with the OM648 is a cool platform. So I mean, they can be had at reasonable prices unless they're low mileage and they get up pretty high. But yeah, look into it if you like a diesel sedan that has some potential for power and is pretty current. This is one. I think, you know, another choice would be like the BMW 335D. I think people kind of go back and forth between which one of those is a really better platform for building some power with a German diesel sedan. So thanks for watching, guys. Put some stuff in the comments, help me out, tell me I'm an idiot, you know, encourage me to keep this car and throw some power at it, and whatever else support or ridicule I need. Thank you.